Jack sat at the edge of his bed, towel around his neck, still drying his hair. The room was quiet. The stars outside the window blinked through the soft blue glow of the space station lights. His wife, Zara, was sitting on the floor near the bed, brushing her long silver hair. She looked peaceful, calm even after a full day of alien politics and annoying ambassadors. But Jack felt something strange in the air. Zara had been quiet all night. Too quiet. Something on your mind? Jack asked, tossing the towel aside. Zara looked up, her eyes glowing faintly in the dark. She hesitated. That alone made Jack sit up straighter. Zara never hesitated. She was a warrior, a leader, and when she wanted something, she took it. I want to ask you something, she said. Softly. Jack leaned forward. Okay, it's about my sister. He blinked. Lyra? She nodded. She needs you. Jack frowned. Needs me how? Zara stood up slowly. Her skin shimmered slightly, like a moonlit lake. She's never bonded. Our people. They think she's defective, cold, not worthy of companionship. Jack shook his head. That's not true. She's just shy. Maybe too serious. Our kind doesn't believe in shy, Zara replied. They believe in passion, and Lyra has never shown any. Now they want to send her away to the outer colonies. Wait, like exile? Zara nodded once. Jack stood up. That's crazy. She hasn't done anything. She's done nothing. And that's the problem, Zara said. No touch, no feelings, no partner. They say she has no emotional fire, but I believe she does. She just hasn't found the right spark yet. Jack narrowed his eyes. Zara, what are you saying? She stepped closer. I'm saying you could be that spark. He took a step back. Whoa, are you asking me to? Yes. She didn't blink. Teach her, train her. Show her what it's like to connect, to feel, to please. Jack laughed. Nervously. This sounds like a really bad joke. I'm serious, Jack. He swallowed. Are you asking me to sleep with your sister? Zara tilted her head. If that's what it takes. Jack stared at her, stunned. His heart thudded in his chest. He'd faced alien monsters, laser fights, and space pirates, but this was new. Zara. This is crazy. She will be sent away in 3 days. I'm the only one who can. Delay it, and you are the only one who can save her reputation. He shook his head. This isn't about reputation anymore. This is personal, emotional. You're my wife. Zara smiled faintly. And I trust you more than anyone. You're the only one who can do this with kindness, not lust. She learned real connection, not just physical bonding. Jack ran a hand through his hair. Have you even asked her about this? She agreed, Zara said, reluctantly. But I could see the hope in her eyes. Jack turned toward the window, breathing slow. The stars didn't help. He felt like his world had just flipped upside down. What if I mess it up? He asked. You won't. You didn't mess up with me. She stepped behind him, placing her hands on his shoulders. She needs to feel what I felt with you. That moment when my heart stopped being a weapon and became something more. Jack was quiet for a long moment. Then he turned around. When do I meet her? Zara looked into his eyes. Tomorrow night. Jack waited in the observation room, a single glass of water in his hand. The room was quiet, too quiet. On Earth, this would feel like the silence before a job interview. But here, in this alien space station, it felt like waiting for a storm. He kept thinking about Zara's words from last night. She needs you. It echoed in his mind like a warning. Or a trap. The door opened without sound, and there she was. Lyra stepped into the room with slow, careful steps like someone walking into unfamiliar territory. She wore a long robe, the same style as Zara's, but darker in shade. Her silver hair was pulled tight behind her head, unlike Zara's wild waves. But what struck Jack most were her eyes, not shy, not soft, curious, cold, calculating. She didn't speak. Instead, she walked straight to the window and stared at the stars. She stood with her hands behind her back, her chin slightly lifted. Like a soldier pretending to be a poet, Jack cleared his throat. "Hey, I'm Jack." Lyra didn't look at him. "I know who you are." Her voice was low, controlled. It didn't shake. It didn't welcome. I didn't know how to dress for this," he joked, trying to break the tension. "Zara said we'd be spending time together." Lyra finally turned her head, her expression unreadable. "Yes, you're supposed to help me learn emotion." Like a human teacher, her tone was flat. "I will observe." "Observe?" Jack blinked. "What exactly do you mean by—" Before he could finish, Lyra walked across the room and sat on the couch right next to him, far too close. Their knees touched. Her eyes didn't move away from his. Jack could feel the heat rise in his chest. "Lesson 1, she said calmly. "Show me how humans greet someone they care about," he coughed. "That's a big question. You kissed my sister when you met her." "I saw the security footage." Jack's mouth fell open. "You watched?" She said it was spontaneous. "Show me what that looks like." Jack stood up quickly. "Okay, hold on. I think we need to talk about boundaries." Lyra looked up at him. "I'm trying." "Zara said humans value communication, so communicate." Jack paced a little. "This isn't just a training session, Lyra. Emotions aren't software you install. They're messy, unpredictable. That's why I need you," she said. "Standing now, too. My people say I lack passion. I need to understand it. Zara says you taught her, so teach me." He sighed. "Zara and I didn't start like this. There was danger, fear, trust. We fought together, bled together, fell in love because we survived the worst." Lyra tilted her head. "So we must simulate danger?" "What? No." But Lyra didn't blink. "I learn by copying. That's how I trained in hand-to-hand combat. Language, flight. Now I must train for bonding." Jack was about to protest until she did something unexpected. She reached for his hand. Her skin was warm, softer than he expected. She held it like it was a strange object, not affectionately, not romantically. Like a scientist studying a creature. "This is step 1? She asked. Jack looked down at their hands. "Maybe," he said. "But you don't hold a hand like you're analyzing it." Lyra looked up. "Then show me how." Jack gently turned his hand around and interlaced their fingers. Slowly, carefully. Lyra looked at it. Then she looked at him. And for the first time, her expression changed. Not much, but enough. Not a smile. Not warmth, but something close to wonder. "You're warm," she whispered. Jack smiled faintly. "You didn't expect that?" "No." Her voice was softer now. "I thought emotions were just concepts. I didn't know they had temperature." They stood there, silent, connected by a single hand. And in that moment, Jack realized Lyra wasn't cold. She was just untouched. And now, she had touched something real. Jack locked his door. Then checked it again. He wasn't worried about enemies, pirates, or a security breach. No, he was worried about her. Lyra, the sister who barely spoke yesterday, had suddenly asked if she could sleep in his room tonight. For emotional proximity, she'd said flatly. Zara had agreed. Jack had agreed too, but now, alone in the dim room, he felt like a man who had just agreed to jump off a cliff without checking the bottom. He turned to face the guest bed. Empty. Where the hell was she? Then he heard it. The faint hiss of the bathroom door. She stepped out slowly, barefoot, dressed in one of Zara's nightgowns. It was simple, elegant, but on her, it felt intentional, too soft for someone who always wore armor. Her silver hair was down now, flowing across her shoulders, Jack tried not to look stunned. Failed. Lyra tilted her head. You're observing. No, Jack said, clearing his throat. Just ... surprised. You look different. This is part of the test, she said. Zara said I should learn ... softness, human comfort, physical presence. She walked to the bed. Sat down. Her eyes never left his. Jack sat too carefully on the other side of the room. So, what kind of test is this? I want to study how humans react to closeness and temptation. His eyebrows shot up. Temptation? Yes, she said. It without shame. I saw how you looked at me. Your pupils expanded. Your breathing changed. That's desire. Jack stood up. Okay, let's pause here. Did I make a mistake? No, Jack said. You're just moving fast. Lyra stared at him, then said, my time is limited. I must bond or be exiled. I don't want exile. He sat again, slower this time. Lyra, I'm not a machine you press for emotion. I can't just turn it on. You did with Zara. That was different, Jack replied. With Zara, things grew naturally. There was danger, trust. We built something. Lyra stood up. Walked toward him. Too close again. What if I asked to build something now? She asked, not force. Not fake. Just share? Jack hesitated. Then she did something that caught him off guard. She took his hand again, but this time, she didn't treat it like a science project. She held it gently. Her grip was unsure. Her fingers trembled just slightly. I read about a human phrase, she said. Testing the waters. This is me testing. Jack didn't pull away. Zara said you taught her how to feel safe, Lyra whispered. Can you teach me that too? His voice softened. You're already halfway there. Lyra looked down. I've never touched anyone without orders. I don't know if I'm doing this right. Jack shook his head. You're not a machine. There's no right, only real. Then something shifted. The lights dimmed automatically. The station's night mode, but the tension stayed. Jack moved to the bed and patted the other side. Let's just talk. That's a good place to start. Lyra nodded and sat beside him, not touching this time. Why do humans close their eyes when they kiss? She asked. Jack smiled. To feel more, to shut out the world. She nodded slowly. Would you close your eyes if I kissed you? He looked at her. Maybe. She leaned in. Not quickly. Not hungrily, just slowly. Their faces were inches apart. Then Jack turned away. Not like this, he whispered. I won't do this just to prove something. You deserve real feelings, not tests. Lyra was quiet for a moment. Then softly, that's the most emotional thing anyone has ever done for me. Zara stood in the hallway. She hadn't knocked. Hadn't said a word. She just stood there. Watching. And inside the room, Jack was asleep. But Lyra wasn't. She was lying next to him, awake, quiet, her eyes wide open in the darkness, not touching him. Just breathing the same air. Feeling his warmth beside her, Zara's hand clenched at her side. She hadn't expected this. She told herself. She trusted Jack, but Lyra was different now. Something had changed in her sister. Her voice, her posture, even the way she looked at Jack wasn't cold anymore. It was something far more dangerous. Possession. Zara stepped inside without sound. Lyra's eyes moved. She saw her sister and didn't flinch. She sat up slowly, calmly, no shame in her face. He makes me feel awake, Lyra whispered. I didn't know warmth like this was possible. Zara walked to the side of the bed. Her eyes locked. With her sister's, you were not supposed to feel that much. I didn't plan it, Lyra said. But now that I've felt it, I want more. Jack stirred, sat up slowly. Zara didn't look at him. Get up, Jack, he blinked. What's going on? She's too far in now, Zara said. You don't understand. Our kind doesn't know how to balance emotion. Once It begins, it spreads like fire. It either bonds or burns. Lyra stood. I'm not broken anymore, Zara. You told me I couldn't feel. You were wrong. You weren't supposed to feel for him, Zara snapped. You were supposed to learn, not compete. Jack stood between them. Hey, hold on. This wasn't supposed to be a fight. Zara turned to him, her voice low, almost trembling. She doesn't want to learn anymore. She wants to replace me. Lyra's voice rose. Maybe I could. Maybe I should. Silence. Then Zara stepped back. Hurt flickered across her face just for a second. You think love is something you can win in a test? She whispered. Then you haven't learned anything at all. Lyra looked down. Her hands shook slightly. Jack stepped between them. Enough. He looked at Zara. I didn't cross a line. Then at Lyra. And neither should you. Zara turned and walked toward the door. But before leaving, she said quietly, if she touches you again, I'll take it as a challenge. The door closed behind her. Lyra sat down slowly. What does she mean? Jack asked. Lyra answered without looking at him. In our culture, when two sisters want the same bondmate, there's only one way to settle it. Jack's stomach sank. Don't tell me it's combat. Jack sat alone in the ship's greenhouse. He wasn't there for the plants. He was hiding from Zara, from Lyra, from himself. The cold air felt good against his skin. His thoughts were burning, and he needed to cool them down. He had faced warlords and black hole storms, but this? Two alien sisters fighting over his heart. No one trains. You for that. Behind him. The door opened. He didn't turn. He already knew who it was. I didn't come to fight, Lyra said quietly. Jack exhaled. That's a relief. She stepped closer. Her voice was softer than before. You left the room without saying anything. I needed space. I didn't. Jack turned. She was standing there, hands at her sides, no armor, no sarcasm, just a girl with too many feelings and not enough control. I didn't mean to hurt Zara, she whispered. But when I'm around you, I feel things I can't stop, Lyra. She stepped closer. I tried to sleep after she left. I couldn't. Every time I closed my eyes, I remembered your voice. Your touch. The way you didn't look at me. Like I was a mission. She stopped in front of him. And suddenly, without asking, she kissed him. It wasn't rough. It wasn't fast. It was soft. Unsure. Honest. Jack didn't move at first. Then too late, he pulled back. Lyra opened her eyes. I'm sorry. I couldn't stop myself. I told you this would cross a line. But I crossed it gently. She said, didn't you feel anything? Before Jack could answer, the door hissed again. Zara stood in the entrance, still, silent, eyes wide. She had seen everything. Jack stood up fast. Zara, but she didn't speak. She didn't blink. She didn't even walk away. She just stared at her sister. And then, in a voice colder than deep space, she said, you've made your choice. Lyra shook her head. No, I didn't. I didn't want to regret. Zara's jaw clenched. You've done more than regret. Jack stepped forward. Zara, wait. Enough, she snapped. I warned you. I said I would take it as a challenge. Lyra's eyes narrowed. Then accept it. Let's end this like our kind always has. Jack raised his hands. Stop, you're sisters. We were, Zara said. But now, we're rivals. The courtroom wasn't made of walls. It was a floating ring of silver light, suspended above a black void, deep space visible beneath their feet. No escape, no shadows, just truth. And judgment. Jack stood in the center, surrounded by Zara's people, Illyrian elders, dressed in glowing robes, faces emotionless, eyes sharp. Beside him stood Lyra. Zara stood opposite her sister. Her hands were clenched behind her back. Her voice was steady. I call for the ritual of claim. A quiet gasp moved through the crowd. Jack felt cold. Lyra didn't flinch. The head elder leaned forward. You understand what this means? I do, Zara said. Jack stepped forward. Wait, what does that mean? The elder didn't even look at him. You are the subject of conflict. You do not speak. Jack's jaw tightened. Well, that's convenient. Zara's eyes met his. You kissed her. She kissed me. You didn't stop it fast enough. Jack wanted to shout, but Lyra spoke first. I never intended to destroy what you had, she said softly. But I won't pretend I don't feel something now. It's real. Zara looked at her. Then fight for it. Jack looked between them. You're really doing this? The elder raised a hand. Let it be recorded. Two sisters of Ilaria claim emotional bond to the same male. The male is human. Exception noted. The ritual shall proceed. From the side, two ceremonial staffs floated toward the sisters. Both caught theirs mid-air. The elder spoke again. Ritual combat begins at dawn. Winner claims the bondmate. Loser forfeits all rights. Jack stepped forward. What if I don't? Want either of you to fight? Zara's voice was low. Then you don't understand our world at all. Lyra looked at him. This is how we prove what's worth fighting for. Later that night, Jack stood alone in his quarters. He couldn't sleep. Couldn't think straight. Two women sisters were going to fight each other in the name of love. Or obsession. And he was the cause. He looked at the mirror. Who the hell are you, Jack? The door slid open. Zara entered. She didn't speak, just looked at him. He stared back. I never wanted this. I believe you. I don't want to break either of you. Zara nodded slowly. But one of us will be broken. That's the law. I'm not worth this, he said. She stepped closer. To her, maybe not. But to me, you're worth everything. Then she turned to leave, but paused at the door. When this ends, win or lose, you'll still have to choose. Even if the law says otherwise. Asterisk, the sun rose slowly over the silver ring of Ilarian judgment. Its light wasn't warm. It was sharp, cold, like a blade cutting through the sky. Two sisters stood facing each other. Zara and Lyra, each holding a ceremonial staff. No armor, no protection. Only their will and their pain. Jack stood at the edge of the circle, surrounded by silent watchers. He felt helpless. He was the prize, but he didn't feel like one. He felt like a mistake. That had gone too far. The elder raised his hand. Begin. Zara moved first, fast and fierce. Her strikes were clean, controlled. Lyra blocked, countered, twisted. She was fluid, desperate, dangerous. The two clashed in a storm of silver light and raw emotion. This wasn't just a ritual. It was everything left unsaid between two sisters. Zara's fury, Lyra's longing, and between every strike was Jack's name. Minutes passed. Maybe more. Zara knocked Lyra back with a blow to the shoulder. Lyra staggered. Zara pointed her staff at her sister's chest. One move left. One strike would end it. But she didn't take it. She stared at Lyra, breathing hard, and for the first time she dropped her weapon. I won't hurt you, she said. Not for him. Gasps rang out. Lyra stood still, confused, bleeding slightly from her lip. You're surrendering? She whispered. No, Zara said. I'm choosing peace. Even if it means losing him. The elder stepped forward. You reject the claim? I reject the law, Zara said. The elder turned to Lyra. And you? Lyra looked at Jack. Her lip trembled. But she dropped her staff too. I want love, she said softly. Not victory. The trial ended. But Jack still had one choice left. That night, the sisters sat quietly in his quarters. Not as enemies. Not even as rivals. Just as two women who had seen too much. Jack stood before them. I've made my decision, he said. They looked up at him. He paused. Neither of you needs to be claimed. You're not prizes. You're people. You've both shown me something different, Something powerful, Zara stood. So who will you stand beside? Jack smiled faintly. Both, but not as your owner, as your equal, as your friend. If love happens again, it will happen freely. Without rituals. Without pain. Lyra's eyes softened. You'd walk away from all this? Jack nodded. If it means you two stay sisters? Then yes. Silence. Then Zara did something no one expected. She laughed. Lyra laughed. Not because it was funny, but because it was finally over. Epilogue. Months later, the galaxy told the story of a human who refused to take a side and won two hearts. By giving his away freely, he wasn't a fighter. He wasn't a ruler. He was something rarer. A man who chose peace in a world that demanded war. And in doing so, he changed everything.